I decided to go ahead and take... Dude, is... I decided to go ahead and take a shit in my bed right where I was. That just made me more turned on. And I ended up smearing some of my shit. I ended up smearing some of my shit over my thighs and my pussy and coming again. A sick and twisted individual masturbates with maggots and dead animals. If you haven't seen it already, I have already posted a part 1 on this. Part 1 will be up in the corner of the video, so go watch that if you haven't already. This will be part 2. Let's get started. A little later on, I realized that I didn't need the panties to hold the maggots and the meat inside me. The mass pretty much stayed in place as long as I laid kind of still. I thought, hey, I guess that means I'm infested, which made me come again. Okay, I was always right on the edge of orgasm, and it didn't take much to go over the edge. I also noticed that the maggots seemed to be more active if I kept my legs apart, and realized that they probably needed to breathe. So that's how I stayed a lot of the time. I did get up and read my email and posted an update on my webpage, but I couldn't seem to think clearly enough to write much. Then I had to pee again, but I just didn't want to get up. So I just peed in bed. It made me come. I just wanted to keep feeling the maggots moving, and they were. They seemed even stronger in anything. I was totally in heaven with it. I didn't eat at all either. I heard my parents come home from work. During the evening, my mom said hello through the door and wondered why I was staying in my room like a hermit. I said I was reading a novel all the way through at once, which I actually do sometimes. She left me alone. I hoped she didn't smell anything. I surfed the web for a while that night and looked at porn. I came a few more times. I decided to go ahead and take... Dude, is... I decided to go ahead and take a shit in my bed right where I was. Amber Heard style. No, she didn't write this. That is just what I said. Anyways, that just made me more turned on. And I ended up smearing some of my shit. I ended up smearing some of my shit over my thighs and my pussy and coming again. I noticed that the maggots started coming out a bit. Maybe they liked the shit. A couple times one would creep up on my belly and just flick it back down between my legs. I was getting tired at that point. It really was time to sleep and my vagina was throbbing and kind of sore from all of the attention. But I was most worried about making sure my maggots could breathe while I was sleeping. Somehow, I managed to find the energy to place a chair on either side of my bed and use sheets to tie my ankles to them. That would keep my legs apart during the night. I pulled the blankets over myself and dozed off lying in my piss and shit. For the most part, I slept through the night, but I kept waking up and sweating with my vagina throbbing worse. I knew I was getting a bad infection from this, but I didn't care. I was not thinking right. I could also feel maggots crawling all over me. I guess I decided I liked that, and I'd play with my clit until I came again. I don't know if I realized at the time that I wasn't wearing the rubber gloves anymore. I'd fall back to sleep and wake up again later with little phrases running through my head. Other girls have babies, but I give birth to decay and filth. I'd keep thinking to myself, or I'd say I'm probably running my womb, and I don't care. Sorry, ruining my womb, and I don't care. I want to be ruined. I know I must have been hallucinating from the infection. I was hoping the maggots had given up on the rotten meat and were eating my vagina instead. My fingers were buried inside my vagina with my fingertips against part of the meat. Whenever I pressed on it, the maggots would squirm faster and I'd climax again. I could do it over and over and keep coming. Finally, it was Tuesday morning and sunlight made me wake up. I knew I was really sick at this point. I felt weak and dizzy. I knew I had a fever. Now my whole lower belly was sore and throbbing. Despite all that, I was still horny, and I was still right on the edge of coming. And then, for some reason, all I wanted to do was to see my maggots. I pulled the blankets aside and saw that I really did have maggots crawling all over my body. I was so whacked out, I loved it. But also saw that I had rash spreading over my tummy and my thighs, and I was soaked with sweat. And then suddenly, I needed to see what it looked like between my legs. I sat up a little, picked up the hand mirror I have on the table next to my bed, and held it between my thighs. My pussy was totally gasped, wide open. I'd never seen it like that before. It reminded me of a mouth in a stick, gagging expression. My inner lips were swollen and dark purple, almost black, while my outer lips were cherry red, and I was losing a layer of dead skin, like a sunburn. A stream of the light brown slime was oozing from inside my vagina and down my butt crack onto the shitty mattress, although I could still feel a large mass of maggots and rotten meat inside me. There was the maggots everywhere between my legs, hundreds of them. And then I saw my fingers on my pussy. They plunged deep into my vagina and dragged out a wad of slime and maggots, which I pressed hard against my clit. I remember having a huge orgasm right then, and I must have passed out. I think I was sobbing too, but I'm not sure. That's all I remember until I woke up in the hospital. Update, here I am. It's been a really long time since I posted anything. I lost my job several months ago, and about the same time Multiply killed my profile there. That's where I had moved all my pics and blogs entries to. So it's all gone. The only other place my pics were saved was on a PC at work, so anyways, I was really unhappy. I just didn't feel like communicating publicly anymore. Maybe I'm ready to start again now. There is a story I wrote about my first sexual adventure with maggots. I thought I lost that too until I discovered that it's been reposted all over the web. It seemed to be famous. I will put that up here if that turns out to be a good place. I wrote about my second time too, but it looks like nobody reposted that. It must be really gone. It had to do with a dead deer I found close to I-94 in Wisconsin about this time last summer. If anyone had seen it around, please let me know. I realized that if too much time passes, I don't write very well. I couldn't possibly rewrite it. I'm going to be 29 next month. I haven't had a boyfriend or even been with a man since I was 18. Yeah, go figure. My parents didn't want to deal with me because I still refuse to go back to counseling. I'm working at Target now and I barely have enough money to keep my apartment and keep my car running. I do make a little extra money doing alterations on dresses, but it's not much. I don't have any future plans for myself. I don't have any marketable skills. I'm totally out of shape and I've gained some weight. I'm up to a size 14 now. And as hard as I've tried to change, it still feels like I'm a sick, perverse, filthy pig inside. I've tried to ignore all the desires and disgusting ideas that come out into my head. Dangerous things for me to do to myself to get off. I always hope I'll change. I've been forcing myself to try, but the ideas never stop coming. So where does that leave me now? I continue to struggle against my talent for failure, pretending to be a normal woman while living in a fear of backsliding and doing something really bad to myself. I picture myself in a metaphor, walking and falling into an open manhole, hanging onto the edge with my fingertips and struggling to pull myself out. I keep falling in over and over, and for a long time, I've been able to get out each time, but I just don't have the energy to struggle anymore. I want to let myself fall into the sewer now, and let myself sink into everything that is dark, dangerous, filthy, and perverse. To my knowledge, that seems to be everything that we have on the Blowfly girl. So from the one guy that commented, here is the backstory. I hope you're happy to know that to know the end of the story. I am kind of happy that I don't have to read this shit anymore, but yeah. If you like the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. If you have any recommendations, post it down in the comment section, and I will see you the next time. Love you all, and goodbye.